I thought the first episode would be a great opportunity for us to remember कि ये planet हमारे बाप का माल नहीं है. Nature is not just something that exists in the background. It is very much alive. It is very much vibrant, sentient, nourishing and breathing. In this fast-paced life, somewhere we have forgotten that. But what if I told you that there are a few good men who still exist, who are trying very hard to maintain the sanctity of the sacred relationship between humans and nature? My guest today is somebody who is doing just that. Instead of cutting trees all in the name of progress, Unnati, Pragati, Vikas, this is a gentleman who's translocating trees. He has embarked on a magical quest called the Big Tree Quest, and we will get to know from him exactly what that is. And without further ado, let me bring to you Uday Krishna of Vata Foundation. Uday Krishna, a very warm welcome to TSMS Lite. Thank you for giving us time and thank you for doing the wonderful work that you're doing.
Thank you, Shezzi. Pleasure to be on the show.
Can you tell me about Vata Foundation, what it is, and I'm sure there's a story behind why it is.
Vata Foundation, I'll tell you the name stands for Vata Vruksham. That is, Vata is word prepared. It's a banyan tree, it's a family of fig trees. And the logo also symbolizes how it was written in the Indus script. Just to give a brief, it was totally coincidental. I was working on a bridge in Hyderabad, 2010, and 16 trees had come in the way. So I managed to move them instead of cutting them. And that was an experiment. The success was actually 13 trees survived. So that actually started something inside of me saying that why don't we do this in Hyderabad, because Hyderabad was expanding very, very rapidly.
Yes.
So the trees that I would see from my childhood were all disappearing. So that's how the whole story started. Then I wanted to do it under a foundation, like a non-profit. Added few more things, adopting jungles, then working on tiger corridors. And then of course now the Big Tree Quest.
Before we come to the Big Tree Quest though, you spoke about tiger corridors and everything, and I know that you ran a very successful resort in Tipeshwar for some time. Can you tell me about that?
I did run a resort, but this was part of the adopting Tipeshwar jungle program, which was which I worked with the Maharashtra Forest Department, where we chose a very, very dead, degraded jungle.
Yeah.
The area itself was very bad as far as no jobs, absolutely no tourism, nothing. So from literally zero, we started the development of the jungle to make it more animal friendly. And at the same time, I started the resort to bring in tourism and to create jobs. So it was one of a very, very successful project of mine, where now today, if you see, like when I started, there were 2 tigers, no resorts, no jobs. Today, 1,500 families are employed there, 20-25 resorts, and 20 plus tigers.
Every time I talk to anybody about wildlife or nature, the first thing that comes up is man-animal conflict. But clearly, it is possible for man-animal harmony to exist as well.
It does, because Tipeshwar is a very small jungle, 148 square kilometers, small for a tiger jungle. Doesn't even qualify to become a tiger reserve.
Right.
A tiger reserve needs 240 square kilometers. So the probability of man-animal conflict was very high there.
Correct.
And these tigers were often seen outside the jungles.
Right.
But yeah, the department managed it very well. The people were very cooperative. And it is an example of not just how animals and humans were cooperating. It was also an example of how tigers were cooperating in such a small space.
Okay, we spoke about man-animal conflict, but there is an ever-present man-nature distress situation happening. And when you rescued those 16 trees, and I'm saying rescued, and then 13 out of those, that's a significant number that managed to survive. You basically said it's possible. It's possible for us to coexist and find a way.
Absolutely. There is 100% there is a way to carry on with the development as well as take care of your trees.
Yes.
And, but more so now the focus that I am putting on are older trees. Because see, losing an avenue plant as against you losing a historic tree.
That hurts.
It hurts. Like, you have this a banyan tree in Kanpur where 133 freedom fighters were hung on that tree. The government goes ahead and makes a park after we get independence. Today the park is there, tree is not there.
What are you saying?
So these are the kind of instances which really show how important it is to save a tree. Because not only we are losing some part of our history, so many stories behind these trees. So we're losing those stories also.
Uday, I was going to say let's pretend, but then let's not, that I'm an idiot. Give me an idiot-friendly reason why trees are so important to us.
See, the main shift I'm trying to bring in the people's thought process or awareness is start noticing trees. For us, trees have been background.
Yeah.
Just that green, nice, all that. But a lot of people ask me, how do I save a tree? If you don't even know the tree exists, how do you even save it?
Yeah. Tell me a story.
This is one of the most interesting stories of Hyderabad's trees. So we are here at the tamarind tree. It is about 300-year old, in between 300 to 400. Difficult to tell the age of a tamarind. So this tree has been around for a long time, and it has actually saved about 150 people during a flood in Musi. We are right off the Musi banks. So from here you can actually imagine floodwaters came all the way to this tree, and you had 150 people sit or cling on to this tree for almost 2 days, like 36 hours, to save their lives till the water actually receded. So the tree is still here, live, and doing very well.
And it is robust.
It is. Tamarind trees are very strong, tamarind and neems. But unfortunate part is nobody really notices it anymore.
There is a wonderful board up there, which is now part of the tree. The tree said, it is mine now.
Embedded into the tree.
Yeah, it's quite fascinating actually. So is this one of the oldest trees in the country?
No, not the oldest. You mean the tamarind? No, the oldest tamarind is about 885 years old, about 900 years old. That is in Karnataka.
You know how they say that nature is sentient? When I come over here and I sit under this robust, magnificent tree and these beautiful green, tender leaves that it has, it just hits me like a ton of bricks that she really is alive, and I can feel that.
Alive, and she dominates the entire area.
Yes.
So it's like presence is felt. So yeah, it's all fresh leaves. This is a season they have fresh leaves. A lot of tamarind also on it. You should touch the tree before you go.
I certainly will. And I wish more and more people came here and kind of decided that they want to be in the presence of something this magnificent. And it's not something that, can be explained in a video, but it is definitely something that should be experienced. Uday, I need to hear one more story of one more cool tree in the city.
Yeah. So we'll head towards the Hatyonka Jhad.
Uday, there is something really beautiful behind me. Tell me what it is. Is it a bird? Is it a plane?
Shezzi, this is the flower of that tree, and I'll give a little brief on the tree.
Tell me a little about the tree.
So it flowers in the night. By morning the flowers drop down, and it's very, actually we're very lucky to see the flowers. You don't normally get to see the flowers.
Beautiful flowers.
So this time of the year is perfect. If you see the tree, not many leaves, you see the buds, you see the flowers, and then you get the imli. It's like a tamarind.
Oh.
It's very rich in vitamin C, and it's got a lot of medicinal value from Africa.
This is a baobab tree.
It's a baobab tree.
Ah, okay.
This tree is about 400 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Lots of interesting stories.
Yes, and you know which story I want to hear?
The Ali Baba.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you see, the tree is right besides the Golconda fort walls.
Yeah.
And people would live inside the fort.
Correct.
Those days. So this tree, it's very unique because it has a cavity inside where 20 people can sit.
20 people?
20 people we can accommodate up to 20 people.
That's bigger than an apartment in Mumbai.
Absolutely. But this tree was not accommodating 20 regular people, it was accommodating a bunch of robbers.
Wow.
Who would actually sit inside the tree throughout the day. Night they would go rob in the fort, get chased by the guards, they would come and disappear. So the guards never found them for a long time. Till one day in the daytime, they saw some smoke coming from the tree, and the guards thought the tree is on fire.
Right.
That's when these robbers got caught.
Oh,
they have a kitchen inside. So they were cooking and eating and sleeping over there. Finally got caught.
So the idea is don't get too comfortable in life in general, but certainly if you're on missions like these. Not that I'm offering any suggestions like this, but Uday, what a fascinating story.
It is.
And what a magnificent tree. I'm so grateful you brought me at a time when it is literally just blooming.
Blooming, the fresh leaves are out, and you'll get the fruit also a little later. But the two cavities, two rooms I would say in this tree. One is a little higher up, a smaller one. The bigger one is at the bottom.
The attic space.
Attic space. There's an attic also.
Marvelous stuff. You know, I was telling you a little while ago, and I'm so grateful that we're here right now and for all the work that you do. I feel like all of us should at least have an opportunity to visit such beautiful trees, monuments in their own right, once at least in your life. It will kind of really give you perspective of how magnificent nature is and how absolutely inconsequential we humans are.
Coincidence, Shezzi, actually, the morning tamarind tree that we have seen, that's where I started the Big Tree Quest. The Big Tree Quest by Vata Foundation. Stay tuned. That's where the idea of doing a documentary, a book, or some kind of a database to bring all of these stories with trees with stories onto one platform.
Yeah.
So what better stories than like these? And these are, unfortunately, they are still there, and we don't even know.
Tell me about the Big Tree Quest.
So the Big Tree Quest basically was after I finished my full-time work in Tipeshwar. I wanted to do something else, something different, bringing together all of my passions of photography, travel, trees. So it's a road trip across India where I have mapped about initially 140 trees. It started off with every state, the biggest, oldest tree. Lot of trees in between with stories like how we've seen the tamarind tree on the Musi, like 150 people it saved. There are stories of 1,000 people getting hung on one tree.
Yeah.
Stories of trees on which people would leave their passport application before they go to the passport office.
Yeah.
Visa, chain down trees, all kind of 100 crore trees. So these are all fascinating because when I tell somebody 100 crore tree, their imagination just goes with 100 crore tree. So I wanted to bring all of these stories onto one platform.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing a coffee table book. What I'm hoping to do. And
how soon can we see this coffee table book? I'm very
by
excited.
the end of the year, we'll have the first part out.
Wow.
Because I've already completed 150 trees.
Amazing.
2 years, 40,000 kilometers done.
I know for a fact that Vata Foundation does do a lot of rescuing of trees.
Yeah.
If I'm watching this episode and I feel very moved and called to say, let me adopt a tree. Because you say free of cost, but there must be something involved for you to, the cost is on you. And I don't think it's completely fair. Is there a way for us to reach out, adopt a tree, or reach out to you to get a tree saved?
See, initially the tree saving was a pretty big dent on my pocket because I would fund it myself because nobody would believe me, so I had to show it.
Correct.
But later on I managed to develop this adopting a tree program where we have a road widening, the contractor needs to get it done quickly. So he wants a tree out ASAP. I stop them from cutting.
Yeah.
So then he's willing to help. The cost is all the equipment.
Yeah.
So he'll give me the equipment to uproot and load it onto a vehicle. So you want to adopt a tree, you provide for the vehicle and planting
the charges involved
at your location. So that way it's been working. That's how we are able to manage. So free of cost will be my services, my team services, making sure the tree is physically moved.
That's beautiful. And I think it's such a doable thing. Na? I can list about 20 things that we do which we really don't need or we really don't need to blow up money on. Imagine what a lovely thing to do, to know and to say that I've saved a tree.
Yeah. I've seen some instances where we spend only 3,000 per tree.
That's it?
That's it. Of course, on the higher side, we've gone up to 3 lakhs a tree. That's again, because of the size of the tree and only one tree. But 3,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees a tree, depending on the number of trees.
I hope people sit back, take notice of all the wonderful, wonderful things that you're doing.
Thank you, Shezzi. I do get calls. I'm somewhere they are noticing it. So,
yes, they are. Uday, thank you for the work that you do and thank you for giving us time today.
Thank you, Shezzi. My pleasure.